Hey, what's up? AP here, and today I want to give a quick message to people out there who, like myself, are interested in dismantling and analyzing oppressive structures. Uh, One piece of advice that I'm going to give you right now is very simple. However, it slips right through the cracks for some people, and that is the people that you allow in your inner circle. Please be cautious, all right? If you see the snakes, wave on the snakes, all right? I'm not saying that it's impossible to debate with someone and to give them advice that can set them onto the right track. Okay, I do encourage that. However, be very careful because hanging around the wrong individuals for too long can cause simple truths to become opaque. All right, and we need to be careful of that. Okay, that is very regressive. All right. Now to all my fellow black people out here, especially those of us living in America, we know how it is. All right, I'm a black man living in the South, and let me tell you, I have seen some shit. All right, we all have. On that note, we are not a hive mind. Okay, we are all individuals. All right. However, there are some things that it's clearly right, and then other things are just plain wrong. Okay, and one of the things that I want to talk about is money. I'm a huge fan of music. Music is a huge part of my life. However, I wouldn't be lying if I said I am very disappointed in many of the individuals within the industry who sit there and brag about, having all this money and wearing all this gold and, all this other stuff. It really pains me to see, our history, and I'm talking about before, you know, uh, Africans were forced onto slave ships, brought over here and beaten, raped, murdered, all kinds of shit that happened. Um, America, to me, is a nation that should not exist as it is right now. Okay, it should not. So when I see people out here, especially people in America that are part of minority groups, whether you be black or part of the LGBTQIA plus community, or especially like black atheists, I'm talking, the real ones, like my people, you know, when I see y'all out here, you're loving the money and the religion, and I'm like, why are y'all doing this right now? When it comes to religion, I understand why many people worship. Okay, there's a difference between white Christianity and black spirituality, and so many other things between. Like, I get it. People need hope in a hopeless world. I completely understand that. However, when you take many of these things and you put it together, you line it all up, what you see and what we get through legislation, through how we're treated, is bullshit. Okay, it is oppression. We live in a nation where somehow it's perfectly fine, for there to be very little, or in some cases, no separations between church and state. That absolutely needs to change. Okay, so if you're out here and you're dealing with people that you see being backwards, that you see out here saying things that shouldn't be, correct them, if you will. If you don't, you just don't want to deal with it. Hey, I get it. All right, everyone has their place. Um, Another thing I want to touch up on is toxicity. Men, we are by nature toxic, okay? And in many ways, if you don't realize what the issues are, then most likely, yeah, you're toxic by default. I've seen it many times. We need to stop doing things like being overly aggressive towards, you know, our ladies in our daily lives, towards children, men, especially up in the household. Like, I get it, things happen, but don't be toxic. Try to talk it out. Before you do something, before you say something, stop and, I mean, actually think about it before you put your hands on someone. I I see a world that wants to change, but when you break it down into the categories, we're just we're not there yet. So basically, what I'm asking y'all to do, just do it for me, please. Do it for yourselves. Do it for upcoming generations. All right. Stop being in love with masses possessions. Okay. I see so many people looking at the craftsmanship, and they're so obsessed with how nice it looks. They completely forget where we are. All right, that is not a good thing. That is not a good place to be. When I look around at minority groups here in America, and I see our lack of value, whether it be, in policy or in the workplace or whatever else, you know, um, I've found that if you don't completely buy, or at least somewhat buy into the lie, then people think, you're fucking crazy, when you say you don't want to be slaving all day, for money. You don't, you know, um, want to see your people worshiping, religion that's completely destructive to us. And you don't believe me? I encourage you to go off and read the Bible. All right, interpret it how it's meant to be. Like, read it. It's right there. And many people will say, well, you need someone to translate it for you. No, go read it. We are intelligent. We can do this. I encourage you to do it. All right. We, many of us know that we're living in a system of predatory capitalism that's many parts backwards, part oligarchy, part theocracy, part like everything that's completely backwards. When you're trying to explain things to people, just take your time, take a deep breath, let it out. Like, for example, I completely support sex workers. Okay, they are healers, highly abused healers. All right, but at the same time, I hate living in a system where someone feels like they have to sell their bodies just to obtain food and put a roof over their heads. I'm like, that's fucking nuts. That is crazy. But a lot of people will say, it is what it is. But can you imagine, right? Having the crazy notion, and I'm being sarcastic here, to believe that you have control over your body, you have say over your body, and then going to someone to heal them, and then you end up arrested behind bars. No. So please educate yourselves on issues such as that. And, I take a look at our education system, and as a whole, we know it's trash. Especially when you're talking about like the true nature of how this nation came to be. And I'm like, when Christopher Columbus and all those other people came over here, they weren't like settlers. These people were like murderers. We're talking like fucking genocide. All right. And now we're at a point where, and I'm talking to you, people. I'm talking to the real ones. Watch your allies. Your allies. Because even some people that say they're, in favor of making the world a better place, they agree with the destructive propaganda that comes out about our borders. Um, our borders, as well as many borders worldwide, are completely backwards and fucked up. I'm like, in many cases, you guys are just keeping the wrong people out. All right? Like, how the fuck do you expect, and this is common sense, to build a nation on murder, theft, rape, being just fucking brutal and ruthless? Build walls around yourselves and then have the audacity to expect people to respect you. Like how do you expect them to respect you? Like, no, that's not how that should work. Um, it would be a lot better if the sane people, and this is a concept like I call it sensible separatism, of pitting having the good people, people that actually want to move forward with to a better world, people who are not in favor of discrimination, like based on the color of your skin and all that other dumb shit, your, gender preferences, and we see what's going on with that right now. Um, and I would rather, have a border where we are protected within it, and then we keep people like Donald Trump out. Like keep those are the bad people, right? Um, they are. So whenever you're having discussions about immigration or whatever else, just use common sense, know your facts. There are so many examples that we can use. All right. And real quick, I want to touch up on the workplace. Like, work is for all of us just fucking suck. It blows, man. But what I really hate is when you're up there, you're working, you've been there 5 6 days in a row, and then someone comes up to you, and they're like, especially if it's like a coworker, and they're like, it's okay, you're getting those dollars. And I just want to say, shut the fuck up, stop. All right, that's not why I want to be here on Earth, just to make money. I want to be on Earth to help people. Um, and as a whole, we're not where we need to be. All right, we got to make a change.